Hi guys, it's Oscrix. Today I wanted to make a video talking about my Skeleton Sniper glitch. It's a minion character that I transitioned from playing my Storm Mages. I switched to the Snipers because they got way better range. It turns out they have better single target damage too. And yeah, overall they're just better. You get more of them, they feel better to clear a map with, they feel better to do a breach like this footage is being shown here. And yeah, in general they're just really, really good. The gear is kind of cheaper too because like the Sun Splinter that's +3 fire, or you know +4 fire is a lot cheaper than the +3 or 4 lightning. The Prism of Belief is cheaper. The Amulet is probably cheaper than a lot of other ones too. Yeah, so in general it's a bit off meta right now, although it's actually better than playing Storm Mages by quite a significant margin. So now's the time to switch your character if you're interested in doing it from playing Storm Mages to playing Snipers. So let me talk a bit about the character's gear, show off everything like that. And here's a quick boss kill too. I'll put this in for just a second. Yeah, that's what the single target looks like. Alright, so let's start off with the gear. I have a energy shield helmet with +2 minions. I have a scepter with +4 minion damage attack speed and a little bit of spirit. I have 2 ever-grasping rings. These are a huge damage multiplier for your minions. Each one of these can give 30% damage as extra chaos. You can corrupt these to be higher too, if you get lucky with the Vol Orb. So I've got 2 of those. That gives 60% damage as extra. My amulet is Fire Flower. Normally this rolls up to +4 level of all fire skills. Skeleton Sniper has the fire tag, so this gives them +4 levels. Mine is corrupted to be up to +5. If you have one with the fire catalyst and then you corrupt it, it can go all the way up to +6. This one was corrupted without it, so only went to 5, but it can go up to +6. I've got a Sun Splinter that's +3 to fire skills. And yes, the Skeleton Sniper has the fire tag, so fire skills from the Sun Splinter, fire skills from the Fire Flower. That's 8 levels between these 2 items on my character. I have an ES body armor with a bunch of ES spirit and resist. I've got ES gloves with resist. I've got ES boots with resist. And then I've got just a tri-res belt with other mods that don't matter at all. And for my charms, I've got an Ascent Hope for removing freeze and starting ES recharge. And I've got this stun one, and if I had another charm slot, I'd probably run either the one that you can't be slowed, or maybe the ignite one, or the shock one. Those are probably the ones I would think about running instead. Or maybe another unique one if I had that. And this is my mana flask, just increased amount recovered, increased charges. So then let's go through the skills real quick. My skills, Skeletal Warrior as the Rattling Scepter, Culling Strike, Maim, Blind, and Sacrificial Lamb, so it gets targeted by your offering. Then on Skeleton Sniper, I've got Martial Tempo, Lightning Infusion. This allows it to shock. So this is a really good DPS increase, because then they can shock. Muster, this is a great support. It gives them 28% more based on how many different mob types we have, which is 4. Feeding Frenzy, 30% more dam. Gamble Shot, this is what I'm using to clear maps. I find that Gamble Shot works extremely well to clear maps comparative to Scatter Shot or any other mechanic. So Gamble Shot from the new patch, great pickup for snipers, works really great for clearing a map. When I'm fighting a boss, I switch in Chaos Mastery instead of Gamble Shot, so I just bring that in when I'm fighting the boss. Pain Offering, I have Persistence on it, Font of Rage, Ablation, and Inspiration, and if I Perfect Jewelered this, I would also put in Dance Macabre to get even more effect and sacrifice 2 things. I've got Despair, since I have 90% damage as extra chaos. Despair is really good. The rest of my damage is mostly physical and then a little bit of lightning. But I break armor, so I don't need vulnerability. So Despair with Heightened Curse and Focus Curse. You could also put like Hex Bloom and some other supports on this if you want. Terracotta Soldier. This is the Spectre Diversity includes, so that way the muster is higher. It does nothing, basically. I have Withering Touch on it, but it basically does nothing. You could put more supports on this, but it doesn't really matter that much. It just costs very little spirit, so that way you can have a Spectre for your muster count. You capture this dude in the Lost Cities in Act 2 Underground. I've got Firestorm on my weapon swap. This is something you don't have to do, but something I've been doing for my weapon swap. Before the boss starts, you can cast this with your weapon swap on. I'll get a little bit of mana and show this. So you cast it with Firestorm, you have this weapon swap on with Effigy of Cruelty, so critical hits apply critical weakness. and then you can weapon swap back to your main set, and your Firestorm still sticks around, and it still counts as having that focus equipped while it's critting. So you can apply crit weakness, so I put crit supports on it, pinpoint critical, X size, concentrated effect, so it hits the same target easier against a boss, and then elemental focus, so you don't ignite. You don't want to ignite because Fire Flower deals damage to you when you ignite targets, so you don't want it to ignite, basically. Voltaic Mark, this one's really important. It gives hits against the marked enemy have 50% more chance to shock, so it helps them have a higher chance to shock. It also has shock effect increase by 45%, which means about 9% to 10% damage increased taken on the target, which is a lot. Very nice multiplier. But the big thing is this new support in this patch called Single Out. Enemies marked by supported skills have armor broken equal to 10% of physical damage taken. The snipers do predominantly fizz, so this makes 10% of their fizz break the marked target's armor. So basically, as soon as you mark a target, a rare or a boss, your snipers instantly fully break the armor of the target, which gives a damage multiplier, removes all of their armor, so that way their fizz is doing, pure flat damage. Yeah, this is so important and makes the build do so much damage. So when you're running around casting your mark on rare monsters or, obviously on the boss, it's really important and it gives you a ton of DPS. I have Convalescence in my weapon swap because it's bugged right now. If you have this enabled on your second weapon set and then you just switch to your first weapon set, you just get to use it for free. So that's why I have it like that. And then I have 2 Skeletal Clerics. They heal and keep things alive. Last Gasp, Elemental Army, and Minion Mastery. Those are the things that I have on the Skeletal Clerics. And yeah, I have 2 of those, but you could have like one. One is fine. It depends on how much spirit you have and how many snipers you can get. Then let's go over the skill tree real quick. So the skill tree, Ascendancy tree first, I take Unholy Might, and I'm also CI, which means that my mana is constantly degenning. The only way that I keep my mana up is by pressing my mana flask. So you'll see I'll press my mana flask, and then it's going to start degenning again. I find while playing, I don't really press a ton of buttons, so it's not a big deal to like press my mana flask every once in a while to keep my mana above low for Unholy Might to be up. But if you find this annoying, you might not want to go CI like I did. You might want to avoid, taking CI and then click this and click the node behind it for Unholy Might Magnitude, which gives a lot more DPS. But for hardcore, I went CI, so this is what I'm doing. I've got Unholy Might, and then I've got Soulless Form, Eternal Life. This just gives 10% damage reduction, essentially, from the 10% of damage you don't take, and then another 5% damage reduction from this thing. And then I have a Jewel Socket, and the Jewel Socket has ES, Presence Area, Ailment Threshold based on ES, and Minion Attack Cast. And yeah, you can put like more Minion damage or whatever else you want to put in here. And here's the skill tree for everyone who doesn't want to look at like a planner or anything like that. I have my Weapon Swap 2 stuff on skill effect duration nodes. That's what these like green things are here. But in general, I just go through the tree, I grab a bunch of ES, I grab a bunch of Minion damage. I get withered on hit because 90% of my damage is chaos damage, or I have 90% of damage extra chaos, so scaling that with withered is gigantic. And basically I just take a bunch of ES, all the minion stuff, a little bit of ES recharge, a little bit of stun, ailment, threshold protection, and as much minion damage as I can. So the other thing that's kind of gear dependent that I have is From Nothing. I have this From Nothing jewel that allocates passives within Whispers of Doom. This allows me to cheat and grab Living Death for 1 point, so 22% all res for 1 point, which is really nice. And more importantly, it lets me cheat and grab Dark Entries right up here, which is +1 level of all Chaos skills, and Skeleton Sniper is a Chaos skill. So this is +1 level to Skeleton Sniper, so great thing to pick up, really high DPS increase. And this allows me to get to the breakpoint where I have level 36 snipers, which is like the last cheaper spirit threshold. So yeah, this is basically my tree, guys. That's basically my whole character. Hopefully the video wasn't too long and ranty for you guys. If you have any questions, come on over to my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Oscrix, and I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, I'll be playing the build today, and I'm probably going to be starting another character pretty soon, but I'm always happy to answer questions about this character and all that. So thanks a lot, guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.